Hi and welcome to another gaming video, and in today's video it's something a little different for me, and it seems that my love of portable gaming consoles and retro games consoles has rubbed off on my son. He's always been a big fan of Tetris, and despite the fact that you can now emulate and run Tetris, sort of Game Boy Tetris, on anything from a DS or a 3DS or a PSP, he wanted to play it on proper hardware. So he has just recently picked up this. This is a Game Boy Pocket. It's the pink version, and as far as I can tell, it's not one of the first gens, because the first ones didn't have a power LED, and this one does. So some of the second, I'm not going to say second gen, but some of the later release ones, they put the power LED back into it. And what a cute, tiny little Game Boy this is. Now, my first games console ever was an original Game Boy, and that's what got me into gaming, and it's what got me into sort of portable gaming. And then I moved on to things like the Game Boy Color, etc. But this, I've never actually had one of these in my hand, and it is absolutely stunning. And for a console that, well, this particular model I think was released in 1997. The original Game Boy Pocket was 96, like I said, but it didn't come with a power LED, and it came in various colours. So this is the pink one with the, well, they're sort of dark grey, I wouldn't call them black buttons, and it really does look absolutely awesome, and it is so small. I remember having a full-size Game Boy, big old chunky thing, and I think even the Game Boy Color was quite possibly bigger than that. It really is just so fantastic, and for a console that is 30 plus years old, it doesn't really look its age. It just looks quite funky and modern. So this is superb. So give a bit of a quick look. For its age, it is in absolutely superb condition. Can't really see much to it. There's a bit of sun damage, I will say. On the back you'll see just how bright the pink was supposed to be. And on the front you can just see it's sort of faded a bit. It's got a bit of peach colour. Whether that's sun damage or just general use, I don't know, but apart from that, it really is in absolutely tip-top condition. Like the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Pocket takes 2 AAA batteries versus the 4 AA batteries in a original Game Boy. And the reason that it did so well, the Game Boy and the Game Boy Pocket, and to some extreme the Game Boy Color, was because rechargeable packs were not really about at the time, didn't have built-in batteries. So running this off of 2 batteries and getting like a whole day or 2 of gameplay out of it was something that was unheard of in other consoles. Things like the Atari Lynx and the Sega Game Gear, you'd be lucky if you got sort of 4 or 5 hours. So yes, it is a mono console, and things like the Game Gear and the Atari Lynx just were better in terms of it had a colour screen and it just looked better. But for sheer gameplay and for the sheer amount of games you could get, the Game Boy could not be beaten. And unlike the Game Boy itself, the Game Boy Pocket replaced the sort of mono green, what we call pea soup screen, and put it for a sheer grey black and white screen. So I've got a copy of Tetris here. It's my son's, and it's the only game he's got, and it's the only game he really likes to play. So you can see it just doesn't have that green tinge that you would get on a original Game Boy. If we look around the console, you've got a contrast button here, so you can adjust the contrast. Is there a volume switch? Yes, there is. A little slider here. Not the loudest of consoles. I would say that probably needs a bit of a clean out, because I do remember that Game Boys generally had pretty decent speaker volumes. I'm not necessarily saying sound quality, but there you go. That's it's really hard to capture on camera, but you can see it's not a green mono colour. It is actually sort of black and white or grey and white, and that is me taking a quick look around a Game Boy Pocket. which I have to say again is not mine, but it is my son's, and me and my love of retro consoles and handheld consoles must have rubbed off on him. He's been looking around for a Game Boy for quite some time. They're becoming quite collector's items. Original Game Boys can go anywhere between sort of £70–80. Game Boy Pockets a little less, because they just seem to be a little less popular. I'm not sure why. Yes, it's a little, should we say, snug in the hand. I do remember owning an original Game Boy back in sort of 1992, 93, and it was huge, although I was a lot younger then. It's comfortable to play. It's not going to give you hand cramp after playing Tetris for 10 hours, but I think the original has got just that better grip to it. But it is such a fantastic looking console, very much what the Game Boy Color looked like after that. So there you go, that is me taking a quick look at a Game Boy Pocket. This is the pink colour, and as I said, it is my son's. You got your power switch on the top, your contrast wheel on the side, volume wheel there, a link cable adapter or connector there, and on the bottom you have a 3.5mm headphone socket and a AC adapter. So if you had a battery pack in here, you could charge it straight in on the Game Boy Pocket. So there you go, a Game Boy Pocket, absolutely superb. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, enjoy.